Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of our Android tip calculator tutorial. I'm still sick, but I wanted to do one more video before I go to bed. Excuse me. Okay, so this will be a quick one. You'll remember that we ran into a bug in the last tutorial, and I will just go over the bug one more time before we start to fix it. So we're just waiting for the virtual device to start up. Okay, here we go. Any second now. I really should have started this before I started recording. Darn it. Oh, and it's already 1 o'clock. Awesome. Okay, so this is what we have now. If we change this to 5 and we hit next, it'll say 5 down here. On the other hand, if we leave it at $0 and we hit a different edit text, it'll crash. Now, why did it crash? Let's go over how to debug something. So up here, go to the debug perspective, which we set up in an earlier tutorial. I don't think it was part of this series, it was a different series of tutorials, I think. And then, this is what we have. This is, look at the Logcat window. I think by default it's a lot smaller, so you might want to make it bigger since it's very useful for debugging. And so, what you may want to do is, okay, so over here you can look at all messages or just the messages for this one app. Since we only have one project open, it's going to be pretty much the same, I think. The Eclipse scrolling for the Logcat window is pretty janky. I've had very mixed experiences with it. In the past, I've usually had to click this button in order to navigate the Logcat properly. This is the scroll lock button. But recently, for some reason, I don't know, maybe I accidentally changed the setting or something, I haven't needed to. But when you're using this, and you have the AVD running, and you notice that if you're trying to read the Logcat up here, and it keeps automatically jumping down here, just click this button, and it should fix it. Right now I don't have to, I'm not sure why. So sometimes you have to click the scroll lock button, sometimes you don't, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, go up here, this is when we started the app at 1:03 AM, and we're looking for the big block of red text. Red means error, so we want to look at the error text. That starts over here. And we're gonna just quickly read over the lines. Exception, dispatching input event. Exception in message queue callback, handle receive callback. Number format exception, invalid double. This is the line we're looking for. And near the top you'll find something that'll basically catch your eye, like this right here. It says invalid double, $0. We know that what that has to do with in our app, so let's see what it means. It says that we have a double that is not valid, and it says that that double is $0.00, and that's true. Because look at it this way. This is a valid double, 0.00. This is not a valid double, and that's because our method that we're using to get doubles. Well, first let's look down here again. If you go down a little bit more, you'll find this line here. It says the problem was that inside this package, logcat.tutorials.tipcalc, inside this file, the diner class, inside this method, update total, and in this line, line 48. It might not be 48 for you, it depends on how you spaced your project and how you formatted it, but for me, line 48 is the line that says parse double, or double.parse double, blah blah blah. That's where the error is, according to Logcat. So What this method does is it turns things into a double. Or, sorry. It turns a string into a double. But the thing is, while it can turn a string version of this into the double 0.00, there's no way for double.parseDouble this method to deal with this $sign, because you cannot convert a $sign into a double or into a number. So that's why we have this bug here. The way to fix it is basically to get rid of this $sign before we call the double.parseDouble method. And we'll figure out how to do that in the next tutorial. But again, I want to point out something that's probably obvious, but I want to recap to make sure we are all on the same page. So again, you look at this, if you get rid of the $sign and then you hit next, it will not crash. And I'll just say it's $0.00 here. And you put any number, as long as you get rid of the $sign, you're not going to have the bug, because double.parseDouble would not have an issue with it. The only time you have the bug is when you leave the $sign there and then you lose focus on it, then it crashes. So yeah, we'll figure out how to solve the crashing in the next episode. I'll see you guys tomorrow.